This is Dan Talks Sense and welcome to my channel. Now recently people on my social media have been asking the same question: has Spicebomb Extreme been reformulated? Now this is one of my favourite fragrances of all time, and when I heard about reformulations that started to get me a little bit worried. So what I've done is I've gone out and bought myself a newer batch of Spicebomb Extreme. I'm going to compare it to my 2017 batch. Now, in today's review, I'm going to give you my first impressions of both. If there are any differences between the two, I'm going to tell you whether the newer batch has got the same performance and projection as the old one, and hopefully I can answer all those questions about reformulations. So if that type of content would interest you, then please stay tuned. Welcome back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an initial spray on both hands, on the back of the hands of each one, just to see if there's any differences between the two when I first spray them on. Now I already know that the 2017 batch performs really well throughout the day, so what I am going to do is use the newer batch, spray it on behind the ears, in the inside of the elbows, and just see how it performs. It's a really cold climate today in the UK. So it's perfect settings really to try Spicebomb Extreme. I might do a bit of a diary and film outside because we've got a bit of snow in the UK, which is nice. Now I have used a website called Check Fresh. I made a note on an envelope, really unprofessional, but I'll just tell you what they are. So the newer batch that I bought, and it's a full bottle, 90ml one, the batch code is 62T10DH, and this is from January 2020, and I've got my vintage batch here, which is 62P90DV, and this is from September 2017. Now I've had so much enjoyment out of wearing what seems to be a vintage batch of Spicebomb Extreme. The fragrance came out in 2015, so this was only 2 years old, and I've wore this many times on a night out. It's given me great joy. It really reacts well to my skin chemistry, and just superb fragrance. Really like it. So yeah, I'll do that first and just let you know if there's any differences when you first spray them on. So I'm going to spray vintage one on my left hand, back of the hand. And just smells, you know, just smelling it is great. You get like the DNA of the original, the spiciness, but it really comes into its own after a while. So when I first spray them on, the juice is just the same really. There's no noticeable differences when I first spray them on. Obviously you've got to let them dry down a bit, but with both, you know, it's got the original Spicebomb DNA in it. I'll wait till they dry down. What I am going to do is do a bit of a close-up of the bottles, just to show you what you need to look out for in terms of the batch code, where to find that. Then do a bit of a note breakdown, probably base notes. I think that's more closer to what notes are in there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to film a diary throughout the day of the 2020 batch, just to see if it is projecting and performing as well as the 2017 batch. Really important for me because it is one of my favourite fragrances, and if it has been reformulated, I'll be really gutted. So hopefully it hasn't, and it just performs as well as the older batch. So if that type of content would interest you, please stay with me, and hopefully I can answer all those questions. So guys, if we do a bit of a close-up on the presentation, the bottles are identical. If I just show you what to look out for in terms of batch code, so if we just twist that bottle around, you can see there, look, that's how to look out for the batch code right on the bottom there. But I really like the bottle of the grenade bottle. I think it's pretty cool with the gold band around the edge. So according to base notes, we have notes of lavender, cumin, black pepper, vanilla and tobacco. So guys, I've been wearing Spicebomb Extreme, the 2020 batch, for about 2 hours, and the good news is that with my mask off I'm walking back home. It is absolutely freezing and I can smell whiffs of it. Still get a really good scent bubble, and in the cold air I can smell it. It smells damn good. And another promising thing is that I was just in Asda shopping, I had my mask on and I could smell it still with my mask on, so that is a good sign. So for me, I'm going to wrap the video up when I get back in the house, do a bit of a conclusion to this video, but to me, not too much difference at all between the 2017 batch and the 2020 batch. So guys, I'll do a bit of a conclusion as I'm back in the house, absolutely freezing. I'm really pleased to be back in now. And what I would say is that to me, and I'm pleased to say, that there are no notable differences between the 2020 and 2017 batches of Spicebomb Extreme. I'm really pleased to say that, because with fragrances we hear about reformulations all the time, and there are some YouTube reviewers out there that say performance isn't the be all and end all, and people go on about it and what's the point, it's not a big deal. For me, I think it's a really important point. It means a lot to people, it means a lot to myself, and that means a lot to my subscribers and people out there, that if you're spending good money on a fragrance and you've had a really good experience of wearing a fragrance in the past and now it's been brought out again in the same packaging, but the performance and projection has been really cut back, that's not right and it shouldn't be happening. And we're spending a lot of money on these fragrances and we want people to smell us when we're wearing them. That's part of wearing fragrances. The compliments to me is a big thing. In a world where people don't often pay each other compliments or say nice stuff, to get a compliment off somebody is a really nice thing. To receive off somebody, I think it's a nice interaction with somebody. So for a fragrance to perform, it is a really good thing in my opinion. So this was always one of my favourite fragrances, and to hear about reformulations made me worried. So to wear it today, the 2020 batch, and to feel that there's no differences is something I'm really pleased to say. To finish up on the video, there's another thing that people have asked me, and that was about, is it worth owning Spicebomb and Spicebomb Extreme? And my answer to that is definitely, because they're two different fragrances. That you got the definitely the character of the original Spicebomb in Spicebomb Extreme, but to me Spicebomb Original is a lot more fruitier, it's more playful. It's with Spicebomb Extreme you have the addition of the cumin note, which some people may find off-putting and feel that it smells like curry, but to me it doesn't. It does really well. Spicebomb Extreme to me is a really well blended fragrance, smells more expensive than it is, and they serve two different purposes. Spicebomb Original for me is a fragrance that I'd wear in the daytime. I think it's good for the summer. I think that Spicebomb Extreme is something that I definitely rely on for a night out, and it does remind me of being in a venue called Albert Shed, which is in Southwater, Telford, where I do miss the times of where we were all squashed together in a pub listening to live music and people jovial, and when you would start sweating, this would react to your body chemistry and it would really project and perform, and that's what I miss. And this is a fragrance that really reacts to your body and projects. So for me, really pleased to say, no difference in reformulations. If you haven't smelt Spicebomb Extreme before, and you know, for me, you have to smell this fragrance, and I think for 55 quid for 50 mils, it is a really good fragrance, and you're getting a cracking fragrance for that price. If you like tobacco vanille, you like smoky tobacco, you like gourmandy fragrances, you like fragrances, you know, vanilla based fragrances, it's definitely something you should have in your fragrance collection. So they're my thoughts on a possible reformulation of Spicebomb Extreme. If you own a even more recent batch than January 2020 and you don't feel it's performing for you, let me know in the comments down below. I do plan to do more videos like this comparing vintage batches to more modern batches, because I think it's a really important issue and subject in FragCon. If there are any other fragrances out there that you feel have been reformulated and you want me to compare them to the older batches, then please let me know in the comments down below, because that's something that I would do in the future. I do like purchasing vintage batches of fragrances and then comparing them to more modern batches. To me, vintage fragrances have a unique smell. It was before things were regulated as much as they are now, and you generally got really astonishing performance in a lot of fragrances, and it was good. It was a different time back then. I mean, I'm a 90s kid, so, you know, born in 87, and some of the fragrances I grew up with were powerhouses like Fahrenheit and Lamal. So that's why when I smell a poor performing fragrance, it does disappoint me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button down below. A thumbs up as well if you could, because it always helps with the interaction. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll speak to you all very soon.